So here we are in beautiful Berlin, basking in sunshine and the wonder of Euro 2024. Back home in the UK though, Manchester United are shaping up for a huge summer and season ahead as Erik ten Hag looks to get the Red Devils back challenging at the top end of the Premier League table. And here's my guide on how to fix the Red Devils. Number one, get Marcus Rashford firing again. Rashford had a brilliant season a couple of years ago. 30 goals in all competitions. Looked like he was really prospering under the tutelage of Ten Hag and striker coach Benny McCarthy. That form absolutely fell off a cliff last season. He was dreadful. The body language was poor. There was very little output in terms of goals or assists. And in the end, it was harder to make a case for keeping Rashford in the team than dropping him. And of course, he paid the price by not being named in Gareth Southgate's squad to make the trip here to Germany. There is some interest, I believe, from Paris Saint-Germain, but the indications from Rashford's camp are that he wants to stay at United, rebuild his somewhat fractured relationship with Ten Hag and get back to his best form. If he can do that, then Rashford and United could well be a force once again in the Premier League and in Europe next season, where of course they are in the Europa League, having won that FA Cup final against Manchester City in May. Number two, get rid of the deadwood. There are a lot of players in this squad that I think Ten Hag would like to move on. Harry Maguire nearly left to join West Ham last summer. He had an okay season, but I don't think the England defender is really good enough to get United back to where they want to be in terms of the top four and maybe even pushing champions Manchester City for the league title. Same can be said of Casemiro. Had an excellent first season at United. Looked like that transformational midfield signing the club have been crying out for, but his legs have clearly gone at the top level, as Jamie Carragher has alluded to. There's interest from Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure he's totally convinced by joining the Saudi Pro League, but United need to get rid of him. They need decent money in as well in order to rebuild the squad. Other players I'd let go. Victor Lindelof, again, not quite good enough for where Manchester United want to be. Mason Greenwood, for reasons non-football, I think will leave the club. There's interest from Italy, from Germany, from Spain and from Portugal. The sooner United get that deal done, and if they can get the £40 million they want, they can reinvest that in the squad. And Jadon Sancho, a lot of non-United fans were lauding his performances for Borussia Dortmund en route to the Champions League final, but his attitude, his application and actually his skill set for me, not good enough to be a Manchester United player. So if they can cash in on him, then I would do that as well. Number three, bring in reinforcements to rebuild the squad. There are some key areas in need of surgery this summer, not least at the heart of defence. Rafael Varane has left the football club, having failed to agree terms on a new contract. He was never really fit anyway. Lisandro Martinez missed more football than he played last season. If they can get him up to speed, then he needs a solid partner alongside him. That could be the basis of a really good Manchester United team. We know they're keen on Jarrad Branthwaite at Everton. I don't think they're going to pay the money they want, so they are looking elsewhere. Keep an eye on Jean-Claire Todibo. He plays for Sir Jim Ratcliffe's other club in France, Nice. That could cause problems because at the moment UEFA are blocking United signing players from the Ratcliffe umbrella. United may well challenge that legally. If they do, then Todibo could be Old Trafford bound. They also like Lenny Yoro, young defender at Lille, but they have interest rivaling them from Real Madrid and from Liverpool. I don't think it's just the central defence that needs work. Luke Shaw, we've spoken a lot about him while we've been over here in Germany and his battle to be fit for England. He missed a lot of football for Manchester United last season as well. In fact, he only averages about 18 games a season for United since he went there from Southampton. So clearly there's a problem. I think they need to look at bringing in a left back. Milos Kerkez at Bournemouth, I know, is a player they think really highly of, and I think that would be an excellent signing, but again, it won't come cheap. Then you look at the top end of the pitch. Anthony Martial finally has left the football club. His wages no longer the burden they have been for the past few seasons. That really just leaves Rasmus Højlund as the out-and-out striker, and he needs a bit of support. He did score 16 goals in all competitions last season, but also struggled at times. They've been offered Jonathan David at Lille. That could be a bargain signing. He's available for around about €30 million. He averages a goal every other game in the French league. And another one to keep an eye on, we've talked about this on talkSPORT as well, is Joshua Zirkzee over at Bologna, very much the surprise package of Serie A. He's over here in Germany as part of the Netherlands squad, hasn't seen much game time so far this season, but that's a deal that could well happen. And of course in central midfield as well, if they lose Casemiro, I think they need somebody else in that position. At the moment, names are not exactly jumping off the page, but I'm sure it's an area where United will look to strengthen. And finally, I think it's vital that United make a good start to the season. They put their faith in Erik ten Hag, despite the fact they flirted with the prospect of hiring the likes of Thomas Tuchel, Mauricio Pochettino, Roberto De Zerbi, Thomas Frank, and even Fulham's Marco Silva, which would have been a bit of a baffling appointment. Ten Hag stays. I understand contract negotiations are going well, and he's likely to sign a 2-year extension to his deal. That will give him the power that he needs in what is a fractious dressing room. They need to really prove that the victory against City in the FA Cup final wasn't a one-off. They need to build on that momentum. They've got Fulham at home on the opening night of the season, live on talkSPORT on that Friday evening. That should be a perfect opportunity to get off to a winning start. There's a couple of difficult away games in the first few fixtures. They didn't get any momentum at all last season. They were utterly abysmal in the opening day victory against Wolves. Lucky to get that 1-0 win. Never really improved from there, so I think they need a good pre-season. They need to keep their players fit, and if they start well, who knows what Manchester United can achieve under Ten Hag. So there you go. There's how I'd fix United. You might have different opinions. Let us know in the comments below.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.